the close. Looks like we might just continue to go higher here. Sort of 3 o'clock had a little bit of a profit taking going on, and now we're pushing higher.
Yeah.
Microsoft is bouncing back.
So I see.
Yeah. You've partialed already, I assume, Peter?
Oh, yes. Yes, I've taken many partials. Many partials.
Diddly-do.
Looking.
Chris, actually not
Is that right,
intentionally.
man?
It was not intentional if it was. I see where you're going with that, by the way. So that was good. You caught me out on that one. All right, I'm going to mute Benzinga guy just because we end up overlapping here a lot.
I didn't really hear him talking all that much.
No, it hasn't been that loquacious this afternoon. How about that? You like that word, Ryan?
You know,
That was after his lunch that he had with us.
like anyone starts with LeQuay.
Okay. All right. Like anything that starts with LeQuay. I'm trying to think of what else is there. You're talking to a French guy out on the pier?
Yeah, exactly.
Garrulous. There you go, Hilton. That's a little more aggressive of a term, though.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like you want to fight. What do we got?
I ran into a word this weekend. You guys want to know an exciting word? Defenestration.
Oh.
Interesting.
It's a word that I have no idea why it exists in the English language. Hold on, let me find it here just to make sure I've said it right. I'm pretty sure defenestration. Yes, defenestration is the act of throwing a thing or a person out of a window. We have a specific word for throwing
How'd you come
a person
across
out of
that
a
on the
window.
weekend?
It was one of these. I just ran across this thing. We were talking because we speak French and English in the house here. We were talking about the French is a strange language, and we were talking about that. So I ran across this thing about English being an equally strange language, and there are a lot of crazy things that happen in the English language. But it was just one of those things that came up. That like, why is there specifically a word for throwing a person out of a window in the English language? Defenestration.
Right.
Yeah. UVA. There you go. Yeah. What's this YouTube thing that you're sending me? More music.
That took off with me.
Yeah, there was a lot of them that I was reading. They
Chris.
were just crazy things that the English language does that I'm like, you know what? I never thought about that, but you're right. It's like, let's see, jail and prison are synonyms, but jailer and prisoner are antonyms.
Work
All right,
pushing
enough
back up.
Enough fun with language. Work is at highs here today. Microsoft is just sort of playing around. Space is not doing much here right now either.
No,
AMD.
UAL just started to break out here. The airlines seem to be continuing their run higher. So we've got seem to have a level here around 32 that 30 could be a area of resistance, and then 32 could be the next area for UAL, 3250. If you want to play the airlines.
Yeah, it's
If
always
you want to-
risky. All the airlines are coming
Yeah.
up to areas of resistance. They're all either at the VWAP or right near it, so I'd be cautious. They may hit some resistance in there.
I'm just looking at Delta. Delta's right at the VWAP right now. But again, it's if you go back last week, Wednesday, we had a sort of high for some time anyway. So there's still room to run on these airlines.
Yeah. So, Rashad, is that how you say it? I'm hoping. I'm pretty bad with names. It can definitely be an issue. Not really an issue, but traders do tend to get into that to where you've had success in one direction, so you become very comfortable with that. So instead of trying to force something you're not good at, you tend to give more emphasis to going short rather than long. If you just look at Peter, a lot of his trades are to the short side. And if you look at Thor, a lot of his trades are to the long side. And it's just how they read the price action and what they feel comfortable with. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. Sometimes you may limit yourself, but trying to force a trade that you're not comfortable with or that you're not good at doing can be detrimental as well.
Fair enough, UVA. There you go. Work might finally be weakening up here. We'll see what it does
Yeah.
at this level.
SPY is kind of rolling over a little bit here, and it just seems like a lot of the stocks are just moving with the SPY right now.
Well, Samia says
Yeah,
it's
kind of going.
Samia is providing historical context. Apparently, the word came into effect when a king threw a guest out of a window. There you go.
Well, that will happen.
That will happen. You hang around with kings. Eventually, someone's going out the window.
Exactly.
What are you going to do about it?
Wow.
Yeah.
So Microsoft, I don't know if you stopped out or right.
Nope.
Slid right back to the VWAP there.
Yeah, I see that.
$20
minutes to go here.
Microsoft looks sideways most of the day.
Yeah. So we're getting
Tough.
some
But Peter, that's your expertise, being in there catching those at the right time.
Yeah, well, it's, I got in early enough that I can hold through this, so I guess I am in a short trade of Microsoft into the close again. Wasn't on purpose, though. Oh, I mean, it was on purpose.
Yeah, this one.
I didn't know I'd be holding it this long.
See what the SPY does at the pre-market high again, if it wants to lose it or if it's going to bounce back.
The defenestration of Prague in 1618. Okay. Samia, look at that. I'm getting a history lesson. See, I'm glad I mentioned these things. You never know. People know all sorts of excellent stuff out there.
stuff you never wanted to know or wanted to know but were afraid to ask?
You know, it's you got to put that back in the vault whenever you get that chance at Jeopardy. You never know when you might need that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, admittedly, Chris, that was on my spare time over the weekend. I came across all this English language things. Here's one I thought was amusing. Here, since we're just watching things move sideways. You have fingertips, but you don't really have toe tips. And yet you can tip toe, but you can't tip finger.
Tip toe, but no tip finger.
You never hear anybody
It's a
tip
good point.
fingering around.
No. There you go. There's the drop for you, Peter.
Yes, indeed. That's good. We're going to take a partial here since it's at a whole dollar. Just giving it a second here to see if it goes any lower. If it goes over 182.05, I'll take my partial. Otherwise, I'm just going to let it ride. Here we go, letting it ride. Excellent. Wow, okay, I'm glad I held on to it. Got another little bit out of it. Of course, it's coming back now. Well, I failed to take a partial appropriately. That was my bad. All right, taking that partial I talked about.
So Dan T, it's that is the tricky part about trading is it really has to do with your entry and your stopping, how well you can manage your trade. And journaling is probably the best way to do it, and keeping statistics is what's worked for me. Is I found that once you have enough data points of the stocks, keeping track, and what I mean by that is if you're watching a stock and you take a trade on a stock, or even if you don't take a trade on a stock, but you see your setup, you want to track how far it gets up, keep it in a spreadsheet. And then when you have enough of those data points, you can start to see based upon your strategy how far it will run for you. And then once you see, because some people can get up to 4R based on where they're placing their stocks, where somebody else may just be getting to 2R because they like to have a wider stop, not as tight of a stop. So once you figure out where your stock will run to on your setups, then you can start to manipulate where you take profits and how much you take off at each individual level that you determine where you want. And you just kind of maximize your profitability based upon your style of trading. There's really no secret to it. It's just a lot of hard work and analyzation to get you to that point.
I want to point something out. We were talking about earlier today. Thor was pointing out this, see this 8 o'clock candle, the 8 a.m. candle. So it sets, if you look at the highs and lows of the candle, look at where the SPY is right now on this. We happen to be hitting a bounce point based on that 8 a.m. candle. So, you know, again, what it means exactly, I don't know, but it's certainly providing seems to be support to the SPY level, the market level at this moment. So
Tin hat's coming out.
tin hat, I know. It's a tin hat play.
Work's looking like it's rolling over now.
Yeah. Just because I'm paranoid
doesn't
mean I'm wrong.
That's true. I just don't like how the double top's made higher. So.
Well, yeah, I saw him use both the 1 and the 5 minute. Usually, for the case of setting these levels in the candle, it's one and the same. I find that more heavily traded stocks, you might want to use the 5 because that 1 minute at 8 o'clock might sometimes bleed over a minute or two if they're trying to get through the volume, whatever they're doing, whatever's going on there. But AMD, you notice there was a second candle that was slightly higher. I think it was it AMD or something else? But anyways, it doesn't matter either way. Louis, I use the 15, certainly. I keep it on all of my screens that I trade off of. It gives me levels of, sort of wider time frame, and I use that to flip between the 15, the 30, and the 60-minute chart, just to see what's happening on them in alternate time frames as well. So, I'll admit, I entered. I'm trying to balance here a bunch of stuff. I've got 3 trades going now. I did take work short. You guys know my moving average cross. If you look at work, let me just call it up on the screen I'm sharing. Here's my moving average come across here, the 50 moving average. It didn't put in a double top, but just with the way it was moving, I decided to take it short anyways. So
nice.
So we've got that working now for me too. And why is my screen frozen again? I have to do something about this software. I'm not sure why. Everything else is working fine.
So Lewis, I use the 15-minute chart to kind of just judge whether the stock is topping out or bottoming out, or if it's in a trend. If you pull up Microsoft on yours, you can kind of just zoom out so you see the entire day of Microsoft. You can kind of see that it's just been trading in a range almost. And it just helps me visualize, is a stock getting overextended? Is it possible for a reversal? Is it trading kind of sideways, or what the actual direction of it is? And Pilot Fish, that's a great idea. If we only knew who the market makers were. If anybody knows one, maybe we can get them to do a success webinar.
Yeah. The thing is, they're not. They're not going to be sharing with us. We are exactly the people whom they don't want to share it with us.
Yeah, we're the ones that they want to come after. Mm-hmm. But you never know. In a community like this, some of us may have a personal relationship with a market maker somewhere.
It's true. Hey, if somebody's got one out there and they're willing to talk to us, so I would love the insight. I wouldn't turn it down.
No. There you go, Taylor.
Well, see if they're willing to have a talk.
Yeah, we would more than willing have them out on a success webinar.
You bet. We'll even keep Thor locked in the back room if his tinfoil hat theories are going to frighten people. No, seriously, Taylor, that would be awesome. We would take that to their schedule and set it up, just to hear them, how they perceive the market. They could pick any topic they want. We'd love to hear, what do they do? What does a typical day look like for a market maker? How do they manage their trades? What do they trade? Who do they trade it for and from? Whatever they're willing to share, that would be a great conversation. Yeah, well, that's Sean. That's what frightens me. That's why I think they probably wouldn't talk to us. But all right, well, the market is pulling back here a little bit into the close,
Yep.
which is good for all three of my short trades. It's hard to say I'm not short biased when I've got 3 short trades going on here into the close, and I'm trying to manage them all, keeping me pretty busy, especially with everything else going on
Work
my
at a
screen.
nice pullback. Or not pullback, but a nice short on work.
Yeah, I
Isn't like that.
I do like the short on work. Zoom, I like where Zoom's going. It's heading back towards the lows here, so that's looking good.
Let me look at your trade, Hilty, on BYND.
It's Plaid Man. Plaid Man. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Brian.
The Plaid Man. The Plaid Man's back.
Plaid Man, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, work is working. Zoom is working. Microsoft also working.
Oh, works.
It's all
Yeah,
working.
work is really kicking it.
I mean, it has been a
Definitely
big
kicking.
move. I've only got about 20 cents on this, but that's okay.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with 20 cents
I'll take 20 cents a share, yeah.
on 10,000 shares.
I didn't take that many. All right, I did take a partial on Zoom when it hit 202. I liked the level. I didn't quite get a fill at 202, unfortunately, but that was my intent. Microsoft is bouncing here a little bit. I will only take another partial. I'm almost out of shares. I'll probably just get all out if it hits VWAP. Otherwise, I'll hold in till mere moments before the close. Work looking good.
Did you get a partial up at 139.20, Hilty?
Come on, Microsoft. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, I'm going to give it more room. I lied.
Yeah, the
AMD is shooting up here. AMD is
Gotcha.
really moving up. Zoom is also shooting up. Oh, this is not going well. Everything's going the wrong way. Well, for it,
everything
it
started
did
headed
hold.
back up.
SPY put in a bit of a double bottom there.
Yeah, I see that.
So it appears that the markets are trying to figure out. It doesn't seem like we're going to get a big push into the close, but it doesn't feel like we're going to get a big sell-off either. So
The tinfoil line held.
feels we're going to get a. We're just going to get a churn and burn.
I've been not before we get into too many conspiracy theories, but I have been trying to get on by that 8 o'clock candle just to see. I picked just some random stocks to watch and kind of see, does it move a lot? Does it move smoothly? And just try to see what's going on with it and then correlate that with the stock movement later. Because there's some that will just print and then go up and then it stalls that minute, where there's others like ZS today, work today. There was a lot of up and down movement going on during that time frame. So, Thor, you're not the only one with conspiracy theories out there. You should use the same strategy.
The difference between strategy and conspiracy. How tightly your tinfoil hat is on, I think. The only difference.
It could be.
Did you just place the tinfoil hat on your head, or did you screw it in? Said you screws that come off exactly. That's wouldn't want that falling off at a critical moment. He'd be unprotected. All right, here comes a pop-up. As often happens here into the close.
Yeah, it was Microsoft.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of the buying brigade coming in last minute.
All right. Taking some off of work. Zoom. I got too many things going on here.
What do we got here? 5 minutes left, a little less.
Yeah. Start pulling up.
Yeah, seems like a little bit of short covering on space going into the close, maybe. Yeah, seems like we're just gonna kind of chop here into the close. Another green day for the SPY.
Yep.
Another green day for IWM by the looks of it. What about the Qs? Because they were not doing as well today, but it appears we are going out green on the Qs as well. Huh. Wow. Okay, now Zscaler's really selling off here.
Yeah. Selling off into the close.
Yeah.
Zoom is holding this level surprisingly, so it looks like Zoom is absolutely going to close over 200, 203-ish. Seems to be the area for it.
Wow.
Getting all out of work, just so it doesn't pop on me. It's getting too close to my entry. Microsoft as well. I don't like it really where it's at. I said I was going to get out. I should have got out of VWAP like I said. I did not.
Zoom had a huge day today. And their earnings are when? Thursday?
Zoom? I thought Zoom was tomorrow after the close.
Or is there's
Zoom?
tomorrow after the close?
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah. Tomorrow, 4:20.
That one might be an interesting one.
420. What
420.
was that?
420.
It's just the time Zoom is reporting. Don't get too excited.
Okay. CGC is selling off a little bit. Hmm. $20 seconds left, eh?
Yeah. Ooh. Above or below pre-market high? Above or below?
There we go. I think it's going to be below. What are you talking about? Fire?
The SPY.
Yeah.
Oh, just above. And then it came below.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely dropped below.
Oh,
This afternoon, the SPY definitely went sideways.
Well, it did a nice run up right till about 1:30, and then it just sold off, came back up, sold off again, higher low, another higher low, and now it's just selling a little bit more.
so let me just share this with you. How do you like that? Look at that line. You can't run it any closer than that.
Can't get closer than that. 1 second.
1 second, I managed to get out of my last shares on Microsoft at 359.59. Well, okay. Have we got anything reporting at the end of the day today?
I was looking at it. There's nothing too exciting for us.
No.
What about tomorrow open?
Tomorrow open, Dick's Sporting Goods is going before the market. I know sometimes they're up there. And it's really the only one. Unless you like a Build-A-Bear workshop, they're also reporting in the morning. But they typically don't hit our watch list.
No.
So
Yeah, we don't have a lot reporting here tonight or tomorrow morning, so not a lot of earnings to watch. We'll see what happens. So today we were watching a few things. At the open, we had a couple of low floats that we had put on our list here. CETX, I was keeping an eye on because I wanted to see what was happening with it. It didn't really do much throughout the day. It was up big, closed the day up 167%, but pretty much all of that was pre-market activity. I did trade it pre-market. And then essentially got out of the open when it wasn't doing anything. So, no, sorry, that's wrong. I was trading this one, DGLY. That's the one that I traded pre-market and then got out. It didn't do much all the day either, up 69%. But, yeah, both are lower float, pretty low float stocks. I didn't like, we didn't have much of a watch list today, but even so, there's always things. There's always things to watch. Obviously, the things that jumped up were what we were talking about. Zoom, big day on Zoom.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the big rise. I took it counter trend, but I was trying to get the reversal. Excuse me. Boeing had a great morning. Look at that rise up off the open this morning. I was really surprised with that. Didn't do much the rest of the day, but really big rise up in the morning, which was a nice move. PFE, I know we were watching, people are watching. So, let's see, I've got trade showing up on that. Anyways, so PFE, I did trade this morning just for a tiny little trade. Didn't pan out, but not much going on with it. And what else were people watching? Target came up. People were mentioning Target. I didn't like the price action. Every time I looked at it, time and sales seemed to be pretty slow. So I didn't see much happening with it. So I never rose to the level where I was like, I've got to trade that.
BYND, I know some traders were trading that today.
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, BYND was kicking around there.
Going around, yeah. So those were probably the big things that we were watching today.
Zoom had a big day. Tesla obviously got through 900.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Can't ignore Tesla, of course. Tesla just ended up moving really slow and steady throughout the day, and it did, as Brian says, just got over 900. Look at that at the close.
Yeah, right at the close there, just pushed through 900.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Here in the room, we got a couple of things that are going on this week. We were mentioning them last week, but we've got a couple of seminars, Mike, if you wanted to give us a rundown there.
Yep. So this week we got tomorrow. Sorry, it's Monday. I'm already confused. So tomorrow we have our own in-house psychologist, Dr. Katz, who's coming in, going to talk about anxiety, how to cope with it, the difference between performance anxiety and just regular anxiety. So I'm looking forward to that. It'll be really interesting. He's got a great exercise at the end of it as well. Then on June 10th, actually following that, we have Carlos, who's doing a success webinar this week on how to get over a losing streak. So if you've seen his YouTube video that he did probably about 1.5 years ago, it's excellent. Well done, but he's updated it, revised, and it should be good for any traders that are struggling in this market or just had a bad month. It'll be good to review and see how he goes. Then the following week, we got Trader Mind Fitness coming in on June 9th or June 10th to discuss mindfulness again.
And I think that's all I've got. I mean, other than our podcasts, which we're continuing to produce.
Yep. And then, our podcast that Peter puts out there, we have Kyle's, I think, is the next one that's coming out here shortly.
Actually, I think Dr. Katz, we've got a great conversation with Dr. Katz coming out tomorrow, and then Kyle's after that.
Perfect. So Dr. Katz coming out tomorrow, Spotify. Look us up on your favorite podcast device and look and search for Talk with Traders, and you'll be able to find us. And then for everybody out there on YouTube, if you would like to try out the chat room, you can use the code ClosingBell24 to gain access for a 1-week trial. Highly recommend that you sign up over the weekend or on Monday so you can partake in the onboarding class that goes every Monday with Carlos at 8 p.m. Eastern. And he'll introduce you to the community, kind of talk about what we're all about, and then you'll have the entire rest of the week to try out the chat room as well as some of our educational videos. And then for any members or anybody new that wants to either sign up or upgrade their membership, we have the code podcast, which will give you 40% off a lifetime membership.
Excellent. Thanks, Mike. I'm busy
Absolutely.
journaling while we're talking about this, guys. It's important to get your journal. I had a couple of thoughts. Well, I had a couple of thoughts I really wanted to get down because I was running those 3 trades, and I didn't want to forget how frantic it was to run 3 trades into the close and remind myself that I should have, before I got so busy like I do in the last half hour, I should really have set some stops and levels so that I could automatically manage some trades. So anyways, one of the things you can, remind yourself in your journals. So. All right. Well, with that, thank you for joining us as always. Don't forget to give us a like in YouTube if you like watching us here, and don't forget to join the pre-market show if you haven't seen it. It's always well worthwhile with Carlos and Norm. Norm in his temporary digs. He's got his new house being built. Very exciting for him. We'll be moving into that soon. So Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we will see you again tomorrow for the close with myself
Yeah,
and
thanks
Brian
everybody.
Yep.
and
Yep.
Mike.
Thank you out there.
Dream
Yeah,
team.
thanks everybody. Have a great rest of the day, whatever that looks like.
Yep.
And Chris, Jennifer, all you people in the room, good night.